Hello, I'm Maria. Over the last 29 years since I was diagnosed with this disease, I've had to mitigate my whole life revolving around what I do, what I eat, what process I take, what decisions I make, the choices that I select. Everything takes an impact into what I do and deal with on a day-to-day life. I've had to work around my visits with my doctors, the treatments that they give me, and trying to find my own answers to strike a balance throughout everything that I do. Constantly looking for healthy habits, healthy eating, things that I can do to get myself interested and active, and trying to strike a balance to keep the good things that I enjoy doing versus the things that I have to do to mitigate and keep everything going. That has enabled me to, for the long period of time, for the long haul that I've had to deal with this disease, to maintain and strike a very good balance. I've been able to manage to maintain not keeping my organs healthy, where I'm not suffering from majority of the threats that a diabetic suffers from, but it has taken me a long process, a long time, and it is a constant vigilance for me to maintain what I've already accomplished. Health-wise, I've taken a few hits of late. As you get older, things change, so obviously things are going to get better, things are going to get worse, things are going to maintain. So based on your process, that's basically where it goes. My main health foe has focused more, unfortunately, on my vision, which is one of the great threats for a diabetic. I've had to have a long process of having to deal with my eye doctors, because the progression of the diabetes on my eyesight began to cause some macular degeneration within my right eye, especially. Both, but my right eye is the worst. And that has led me down to deal with having to have certain treatments, which I'm going to go a little bit more into depth and detail to give you the goods and the bads on this. But at the same time, what it has cost me is a lot of pain, a lot of instability, a lot of concerns, a lot of worries. That is one of those additive side effects that often you deal with in this process. Over the last decade, my health has taken a turn that has led me down to have issues significant enough where I'm actually having to have constant treatments with my doctors. My vision has been declining, and specifically in the last 5 years. I've been on and off seeing the doctors, getting treatments. They have actually had to do intervention in my eyes because they're beginning to degenerate a little far enough where it can not only my vision, but it can affect me to the level of actually risking going blind. They've been doing treatments of shots in my eyes and also laser treatments. The shots are very uncomfortable and they sound horrific. Getting a needle into your eye is not only impactful, but it sounds like one of the most horrific things that you can possibly imagine. And being bad as it is, to be honest with you, in my own experience, the actual lasers are far worse. The lasers hit sensitive nerves in the eye that, to me, they're torturous. And that has caused me a lot of issues, so much so that I actually developed postpartum depression after the birth of my babies, but mild enough, I would say, where I can mitigate and deal with things majority of the time. You know how we all women say, a good cry and a good soaking in the tub and reconnecting with yourself can do marvelous amount of healings. And in my world, that has actually worked, and that's actually very true. With these issues, with these health issues, facing the constant threat that I am getting, my vision is denigrating enough to levels where I have to have this kind of treatments, have cost that tenfold, and at times becomes a little unbearable. So much so that I have to depend on my loved ones and the people that are closest to me to kind of get me out of that. One of the also side effects, aside from having to deal with all of this and having to have so many treatments, is having to deal with anxiety. The mere thought of having to go to the doctor's office to get those type of treatments send me into a panic mode that at times they're very debilitating. I got to a point about 5 years ago that we were having family issues with my parents-in-law, where they were elderly and their health had taken a turn that they require of our help, so we literally had to drop off everything and move them with them. So that took a toll because we were concentrating on dealing with the medical issues that they were having. Then his father passed away, and it was even far worse having just to deal with his mom and her medical issues. Unfortunately, we lost them both, but for that time frame, there was a period of time that I went without the treatments. Plus, I wasn't quite keen into actually having them, so that deteriorated even further. Because of that, now I'm having to have these treatments even that more subsequently and that more in depth to kind of not necessarily regress but stabilize my condition. And that had caused me to having to do these treatments, has caused me that intense emotional degradation where my anxieties are beyond. I have gotten to the point that over the last year and a half that these treatments started, I cannot physically go to the doctor's office unless my husband comes in with me. And this is what I was in my other video, previous to that. I will try to pin it to this video so that you can, if you're interested, you can review it. In that video I specify that there are things that can derogate and can mitigate or expand from the treatments that you get, or the, how can I say, the side effects of this disease. And those two have been the two that have cost the most to me in my own experience. It's just one of those things that as you progress, it can really take a toll into your life. And it has gotten to the point that I haven't been able to really drive for a while because of my eye problems. I had to stop working because I'm normally working in front of a computer, and that has caused me major issues focusing and seeing the screen of my computer, so I cannot work. And I'm also, as I said, driving because the vision while I'm driving causes me problems. Plus there's issues where my eyes get flashes and kind of blinding, and they palpitate a lot, or I get floaters that get in my way in my vision. So these kind of things kind of prevent me from doing certain things. So it affects not only my day-to-day, my sense of freedom, my sense of doing things on my own way, on my own term, but the reaction of certain issues, of certain things that can cause such inhibiting emotions. And that's just one of the facets that a person with diabetes faces. In my own experience, this is one of the things that have hindered me the most of late. And I hope that in me sharing my experience, my problems, can kind of give someone the hope or the information to help themselves to educate themselves about it and to get the help that you can't delay. The moment you feel there's a little bit of blurred vision, just go to the doctors. Do not delay because you put it to the side, or it's just blurred vision, my eyes are tired, and it can lead to something way much deeper, such as the degeneration of my eyesight. So now I'm, in retrospect, kind of paying the price for not paying attention to me as I should have, and putting other things in front, which were very valid and very important, but that caused me to regress a little bit further than I wanted to or would have allowed myself to, by just, as I said, taking your eyes off for 1 minute can cause you a great amount of pain. So stay focused. Don't just ignore things, because that can cause a lot more harm to you. In conclusion, you need to know how to mitigate, how to balance everything for your life, because any little bit can throw you off and can cause major harm. As in my case, just a little brief kind of offside by looking the other way, in preoccupying myself in family matters and things that was at the time seemed to be more important, threw off the focus of my concentration on my care, and that has caused me the incredible, painful, and damaging effect of dealing with my vision problems at this day. Be diligent, be focused, do not let the absolute devotion to how you handle and mitigate yourself and your problems, your process, constantly throw you off, because it will come down hard on you, and the effects will hurt you more than you could ever imagine. I personally advise that you stay on focus 24/7, because just one little slip, one little look away can cause you major harm. Thank you for watching my channel. Stay tuned. Do hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss any episodes on this encounter to keeping up with diabetes.